Here's how I went from being a starving artist in LA, completely broke and barely getting by as a dancer, to just a few years later selling out tours all over the world, dancing with my favorite artists in music videos, in movies, and most importantly, building multiple seven-figure businesses doing what I love. Now, it wasn't easy because I had no college degree, no roadmap, and I was brand new to LA. But what I did have was relentless pursuit of finding a way to make money doing what I love. So in this video, I'm gonna reveal to you the 7 ways that I make money as a dancer, and I'm gonna rank them from the ones that make me the least amount of money all the way up to the most amount of money. So make sure you stick around for the whole video because I'm also gonna give you actionable steps for each one so that you can actually start to do it for yourself and not just be building yourself as a dancer, but as a brand, as a business owner, starting to think bigger and reframing your mind to turn your passion into profit. So if you're ready to get started, get out your pen and paper. You're gonna wanna take notes for this one. And let's go. Income, and number 7 on this list is being a professional dancer and choreographer. Now, a lot of people might say, if you're at the top of the dance and choreography game, you can actually make a lot of money. Yes, it's true, but the thing about it is you're always looking for the next job. And even when you finish that big music video or that big tour, if you don't have another one immediately lined up after, you're gonna have this lag time where you're not earning an income. And my goal was to take that power back so that I'm not just showing up to an audition and hoping and praying that I happen to fit what they're looking for that day so I get casted in the job. No, how can I as a creative take that power back and create my own opportunities? Whether there's a tour happening or there's a commercial shooting that day, I can still earn an income, I can still impact people's lives positively, and I can still be building my brand, something bigger, so that I can make money even when I don't show up to work. So we're gonna keep going in number 6, but later on, I'm gonna show you how the future things we do impact your ability to be a professional dancer and choreographer and make this one earn you a whole lot more, a whole lot easier. So number 6 is teaching. And I'm gonna explain to you how I used to do teaching and how I teach now that makes me 5, 10, even 20 times the amount of money that I used to make for the same amount of effort. Because when I was starting out teaching, I was making a per head fee, which means I get paid based on the amount of students that pay for my class. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, you just need to build a social media following and post videos of your class or of your choreography so that people see it and then they like it and they show up. And while you can get lucky and that can work, there are cases of dancers that have incredible choreography, they have tens of millions of followers, but still nobody shows up to take their class. So it doesn't always correlate. You wanna think small picture, medium picture, big picture. The small picture is, how do I get more people in my class next week? Well, posting videos on social media of you teaching, talking about tips, showing your choreography, that's a great way to just build that momentum. Also, word of mouth. Maybe you have 10 people that come to your class every week and love you. Tell them that next week they can bring a friend for free. The medium length picture is what's something you can do in the next 3 to 6 months. Maybe that's adding another class, like a beginner class, if you're only teaching advanced. Maybe your hip hop class is really popping off, but you also have a passion for jazz funk or heels and you can add another style. How can you start to increase your net? And the big picture is, what do you want to do in the next 1 to 5 years? Do you want to eventually open your own dance studio? Do you want to do tours around the world and be able to sell out workshops in any city you go to? Knowing your final goal and working backwards so that you know what to do in the day-to-day, in the short term and medium term to get there is going to help you understand the blueprint and stay consistent. Now, number 5 is social media monetization. And a lot of people are probably expecting this one to be higher up on the list. But the truth is, as dancers, it can be really difficult to monetize because we're dealing with copyright music. And if you know anything about me, you know I've been struggling with this issue for over a decade now. I've posted many times about arguments that I've had with major record labels and artists over getting videos blocked and taken down. And often it's me and the artist who I'm dancing for fighting against their very own record label. Because guess what? The artists want us to dance to their music. They want their music out there, but the labels own the music. And so we constantly have this fight. So as dancers, sometimes the monetization element of social media platforms can get tricky, but this is getting easier and easier. And in fact, in the last couple years, I've made more money on monetization than I've made in my entire career because the labels are starting to want to work with creators more. Now, the key to monetization is you have to understand how each platform monetizes, and you have to post consistently to build your audience and your engagement there. So for instance, the reason I love YouTube so much is because both on long form and on short form, you can monetize. Now on long form, if you have music that is copywritten and you don't have approval from the label, then the record label will most likely keep that money. And you probably heard the story of how I lost over $15 million to the record labels who took all of my monetization for basically the past 15 years on YouTube. But it's still so valuable to be building your audience on YouTube, and you can monetize your shorts even if there's music in them. Now on Instagram, it's really tough to monetize. Technically, they have this bonus program, but I'll be honest with you, it barely pays out at all. And I mostly post on Instagram to keep up social momentum and brand deals, which we're gonna talk about later. Now, TikTok is an interesting one right now. You can monetize on live streams, you can monetize through TikTok Shop selling products, and you can monetize videos that are over 1 minute long, because TikTok is trying to encourage people to not just post these 5, 10, 15-second videos, but actually post longer form content like unboxings and reviews, vlogs even. And I've actually found that it's a great place to do dance tutorials because there are a lot of people looking to learn things on TikTok. Now, the other two we can't forget are Snapchat, which has a similar setup to Instagram right now with both stories and reels, which they call Spotlight. But essentially, it's the same thing. You can monetize both, but really only stories now. Spotlight's not as consistent. And then the last platform I love for monetization is Facebook. I know it's where our grandparents and aunts and uncles go, but it is still one of the best platforms to be able to grow and monetize as a dancer. So, all right, now we're gonna start getting into the good stuff. At number 4, we have merch or physical products. If you've been following my story, you know that this past year I launched a clothing brand called Mad Chill. Got the hat on right now, and it's a huge, huge passion of mine, mixing fashion with dance and also with a good cause, because we partner up with mental health organizations and give a portion of our profits back to those companies. But long before I had this clothing company, I was still making merch and taking it on every single tour that I did. I would make tour tees with all the dates and the cities on the back. I would put my signature on it. And the great thing about making a physical product like this is the connection that it builds with your fans. They get to take something home that they can wear and hold and feel and remember the experience every time they see it. Now, as far as how much money this one makes, I put it in the middle here because when I'm running merch drops or really big events, this one does really, really well for me. But I wanted it to be something I could build into an actual brand and think 5, 10, 20 years in advance on this idea of bringing people together through fashion. So that's why I created Mad Chill. And because I'm thinking of this as a long-term business and not just a short-term drop, I'm reinvesting every penny from the business back into it. But it's really important when we look at this list of streams of income that we're not just focusing on the ones that make us money today. We're also watering the seeds that we've planted that are gonna grow potentially into the biggest trees further down the line. Now, before we get to number 3, you're probably noticing a common thread here. All of these things so far get a lot easier as you build a social media following. But one of the biggest questions that I get is, how do I actually build that following? Because when you're first starting out, it can seem so confusing to have all these different platforms and algorithms and words thrown around like call to action or average watch duration. There's all these fancy terms, but really all it means is how often are people stopping their scroll to watch your video and how much of it are they watching. And if you want to learn how to create videos that do this and go viral, and how to build an audience that doesn't just watch your clips, but actually follows you, invests in your story and your career, and buys the things that you're selling, shows up to your workshops and goes out of their way to engage and contribute to your content, then I have something that I think might help you. I get so many questions about this because after getting messages asking me questions about social media for probably the last 10 years, I decided that for the first time ever, I'm gonna do a social media mentorship program. It's gonna be 8 weeks long, and I'm gonna work with you one-on-one to help you build your social media profiles for whatever it is you wanna do, whether that's being a dancer, working with artists, working with brands. Maybe you own a dance studio and you wanna scale it and fill up your classes. The most powerful thing that you can do is have a mentor, have a coach that's been through the things that you wanna do. Because trust me, when I was first starting out, I made every mistake in the book. I started at zero just like you did. But after years of trial and error, studying the algorithms, talking to the platforms, I started to understand that I could do this not just for myself, but I was able to help so many other dancers and business owners grow their social media exactly like I did. But the thing is, it's not a magic formula. It takes time, and you're gonna have to put in some work. So I built this 8-week mentorship so that I can actually teach you the steps, guide you through it, give you assignments, give you feedback, and help you craft your content. Now, since I am gonna give a lot of individual feedback, we have to keep this really small. So we're only able to open it up to 20 people, but if you wanna apply, the link is down below. And if you're serious about taking your content creation, your brand, your business to the next level, I would love to help you. Now, with that said, getting to number 3, which is one of my personal favorites, and that's brand deals. And this is where you can start to make a lot of money. Because think about this, brands are spending millions of dollars every month on things like TV commercials and radio ads and billboards and bus stop ads, all this stuff. But what if you could get just as much reach and visibility for a brand as, say, a TV commercial or a billboard? Would that be worth it for them? Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, a brand doesn't really care how it gets visibility, how it gets sales. It's gonna go to whatever is the best value for their marketing money. So if you've created a brand where you can consistently get views and your audience trusts you and you start talking about products, or you wear clothes, or you dance to songs that you like, where a record label just happens to also be promoting that song and they have a budget to do so, you're now a match for that brand, and that marketing budget is gonna go to you. Now, there's a lot of ways to do this, even with a smaller following as you're starting out, for lower rates as a UGC creator, which stands for user-generated content, meaning that you might be promoting a product or a service and you might not even have to post it, because sometimes the brand just wants the video to be able to run it on their own social media or run it as an ad. But as your audience grows, so does your income earning potential. And the thing that's so great about brand deals is that you can do them from anywhere in the world, and it doesn't take a ton of additional time. So you can still teach, you can still choreograph, you can still do all the other things that you're doing, but when those brand deals come in, that's just instant extra money that you're making on top of everything else. Now, I never recommend that dancers use brand deals as their only source of income, because just like dancing and choreographing, where you're waiting for the next audition, sometimes you could be waiting for the next brand deal. And that's why it's so important that we have these multiple streams of income, so that when dancing and choreographing is slow and brand deals are slow, well, we still have teaching and we still have our merch and we still have these other things that we're doing. And then when everything's hitting all at the same time, we're in an incredible spot. But we always have these different levers that we're able to pull so that we have a consistent income no matter what. And the next one that I'm about to tell you is really gonna take this to the next level. Now, number 2 is my online teaching platform, which is called dncr.com. And one of the things I absolutely love about dance is sharing it with others. In fact, teaching is my favorite thing to do. But I started to realize that even though I had my own tours and my own classes, all this stuff that I was doing on my own, I could only be in so many cities at once. I can't get to every major city every year. And in fact, I can't even make it to the major US cities, let alone all of the international ones that I want to get to. So I wanted to find a way to give people the training that I was giving my students locally in LA online. And while I've been doing dance tutorials my whole career on YouTube for free, those routines are just a small piece of what actually makes a dancer really improve. So I created dncr.com at the start of COVID as an online training program where you could learn not just from me, but also from some of my favorite teachers in LA, as well as influencers and creators, professional dancers, all these people that I looked up to that I think could add value to my online community. I put them in one place in DNCR, and I made it available all over the world. Now, why is this so powerful and near the top of the list here? And it's because I'm able to now make money while I sleep, because DNCR is a subscription service. People pay a fee every single month to have access to all these tutorials. And guess what? If I'm out of town and I'm on the road doing something, I can still have my other teachers creating content, uploading, teaching the students until I come back. And so as I started to grow DNCR, I realized that this checked every box. I was able to do something that I love, impact the world in a positive way, teaching dance. I was able to make money while I sleep, and it had infinite scalability, meaning there was no room that would keep me from adding more people. There was no contract with a studio where my income potential was capped. I truly had creative and financial freedom in scaling this business. Now, this isn't something you'll be able to do as a brand new dancer or choreographer, but remember, we talked about small time frame, medium time frame, long time frame. You want to start thinking about long time frame. For me, the long time frame wasn't owning a physical studio. I wanted to be able to make a virtual studio and truly reach people all over the world. You need to think about what truly resonates with you, but being able to create something that can live on past your prime as a dancer, so that even when I'm 80 years old, maybe not dancing quite as good as I am today, I'm still gonna be able to provide value to the dance community and also earn a passive income. Now, the last one, number 1, and this is the most important thing you need to take away from this video, is as you earn money as a dancer, that is not money that you go out and spend. That is money that you learn how to invest. I've seen so many dancers have incredible moments in their careers where they book their first tour, their first music video, they immediately go out and buy a car. They book their second tour, they go party. They book their third tour, they go buy a nicer car, a watch, some designer bags, and then the fourth tour doesn't come right away, and what happens? Or COVID hits and there are no tours or music videos for a while. The thing about life is that it's unpredictable, and when you have a career in the arts like dance, you always have to be prepared for the rainy day, and more importantly, you have to learn how to take the money that you're making and have it work for you by investing it. Now, there's a million ways to invest money. I talk about this in a lot of my other videos, so we're not going to get into the details. It could be investing into things like stocks or crypto. It can be buying a house that you can build equity in and then rent out. It could be getting a couple cars that you can rent out on an app like Turo and make a passive income there. Or it could be investing into a business that you believe could be your long-term future, like what I did with DNCR and am now doing with Mad Chill. And if I can leave you with one thing that will truly allow you to be successful in the long term in anything you do, it's to keep studying. Stay humble and keep studying. Every single day, I'm looking at things on social media, in business, trying to better understand how to do good in the world and how to improve my business. Because trust me, as artists, we're not meant to be starving. We're so talented and we work so hard. You have to stop thinking of yourself just as an artist. Start thinking of yourself as a business. You are a brand. You're a brand with infinite potential. You just have to tap into it. If you're serious about growing your brand, growing your business, and want to take it to the next level, click the link below to apply for my one-on-one mentorship program. I would really appreciate it too if you left a like, leave a comment, let me know what you took away from this video, what else you would like to know more about, and I'll see you guys on the next one.